The world of true crime often uncovers deeply strange, unexplained mysteries. These scary anomalies are disturbing because to this day, nobody has found a reasonable explanation for them. Crime scene investigators are usually unable to find enough forensic evidence, DNA or otherwise, to say for certain what events even occurred. Number 5. One of the most scary and unpredictable true crime stories ever was an unexplained mystery on September 6, 1982. Off the coast of the small Alaskan fishing village of Craig, several people noticed the Investor, a brand new fishing boat, separate from the rest of its fleet. That day, a man in his early 20s with a pockmarked complexion was seen returning to the boat to light it on fire. When investigators finally arrived at the boat, much of the crime scene evidence was destroyed by the flames. But they were still able to see the horrifying truth. Skipper Mark Coulthurst, 3 members of his family, and 4 deckhands had all met their end. 2 years after the crime, a 24-year-old former employee of the skipper named John Peel was arrested because of his physical resemblance to sketches of the criminal suspect. His 6-month trial resulted in a hung jury, and he was found not guilty during his retrial, even making $900,000 after suing the state for wrongful prosecution. During Peel's trial, the defense suggested that a narcotics deal gone bad was responsible for what had happened, even going as far as to suggest that the Investor was a boat bought with an illegal side business. Ray Shapley, the former police chief of Craig, agreed, though this explanation has been unsatisfying to most. A credible and agreed-upon motive was never truly discovered when it came to this case, which remains perhaps the most famous unsolved mystery of Alaska. Number 4. In 2012, Hurricane Sandy blew through the Caribbean and the eastern United States, uncovering some disturbing mysteries of the past. The Lincoln Oak was a tree planted on New Haven Green in 1909 to commemorate what would have been Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. The tree was pushed down by the hurricane, and hidden under its root system were old human remains. The skeletal system of at least 2 people were initially thought to be from the 1800s. That estimate was reevaluated after archaeologists discovered an iron coffin nail from the 1700s. The New Haven Green was once used as a mass burial ground. The Grove Street Cemetery was established in 1797, and some bodies and headstones were moved there. By 2013, the remains of 6 individuals had been found, including 3 adults, 2 children, and 1 unidentifiable body. Archaeologists believe it's likely that many more bodies could be found by probing deeper into the earth in the Green, with up to 5,000 people still buried there. It's unclear what other mysteries and strange treasures are hidden below, and how difficult it would be to excavate them. Number 3. Billy Howard and Robert Earl Dye were partying with their cousin Dan Brasher on the last night that they were seen, March 3, 1956. Late that night, they left a relative's house in Jefferson County, Alabama, taking Billy's green 1947 Ford to a party in Robinwood, and they were never seen again. It became one of the most confounding mysteries in Alabama history. Part of what's so disturbing about this unsolved mystery is the long time it took to realize something was amiss. All 3 men were known as heavy drinkers, so it wasn't unusual for them to disappear for a day or 2. After enough time passed that the family was concerned, they filed a missing persons report. Unfortunately, the close-knit community treated investigators with coldness and suspicion. What information did make it to investigators seemed either completely fictionalized or simply unreliable. A neighbor of the Robinwood house, for example, said that he saw men carrying water from his outdoor faucet into the neighbor's house early the following morning. Most infamously, one man apparently saw a bulldozer burying a car in the US Highway 79 construction site nearby, an allegation that still gets raised and repeated as a regional myth years later. In 1972, for example, the new Jefferson County Commissioner ordered multiple digs and drills into the highway in search of the missing car, though nothing was found. One sheriff's deputy was assigned to the case after Curtis Brasher kept up his push for answers, writing letters to state officials. But the investigation has mostly run out of steam over the years. Still, it remains the oldest active cold case and one of the most significant unsolved mysteries in Alabama. Tips still come in and get checked out, including suggestions for finding a buried 1947 Ford, which has become as recognizable and iconic for the case as the victims themselves. But while technology has advanced and deputies have access to state-of-the-art radar devices for detecting disturbances beneath the soil, the bodies of the men and their car remain missing. As of 2016, anyone with information about Billy Howard Dye, Robert Earl Dye, or Dan Brasher can call the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department at 205-325-5700. Number 2. Ada Maria Mills Redpath, who was born on April 26, 1842, belonged to one of the most powerful and wealthy families in Canada. The Redpaths lived in Montreal's Square Mile and were considered part of the ruling class, rich from constructing projects like the Lachine Canal and Notre Dame Church and founding Canada's first sugar refinery. On June 13, 1901, Ada Redpath, by then the 59-year-old widow of the industrialist John James Redpath, had passed away. She and her 24-year-old son, Clifford, were found lifeless in Ada's bedroom. To this day, nobody knows for sure why this disturbing crime occurred. Some in the true crime community believe that Cliff was directly responsible. As evidence, they point to a coroner's report claiming an epileptic fit caused Cliff to experience temporary insanity and turn violent. However, there are details that don't fit, like the fact that 2 different weapons were found at the scene, not just one. Part of what makes this mystery so confounding is the lack of explanation for what exactly happened. But perhaps even more creepy and strange are the fishy details of the investigation, which the remaining Redpaths have not publicly discussed. Crime scene investigators didn't want to visit the mansion until a day after, and a police officer was never called. Ada and her son were also buried only 2 days after they lost their lives. Cliff's epilepsy went unmentioned in family documents before the tragedy. Why were the proceedings so rushed, and why wasn't there a more thorough investigation? The family's wealth and high-profile status in Montreal make the possibility of some cover-up seem even more likely. This cold case still fascinates investigators and researchers today. A research team from McGill University in Montreal included the story in their website Great Unsolved Mysteries in Canadian History, which includes the coroner's report, photos, diaries, and other artifacts from this creepy tale. The world may never know the true story of what happened in that mansion. Number 1. On May 31, 1995, a woman who went by the name of Jennifer Fairgate managed to check in at the Oslo Plaza Hotel without providing the hotel a passport, credit card, or any other form of ID. On the hotel check-in form, she even used a fake home address, one based in a Belgian village. 3 days later, when hotel security came to Fairgate's hotel room to get a credit card to pay for her room, there was a loud bang. When police got through the double-locked door 15 minutes later, Fairgate had already passed away from a bullet. What makes the case of Jennifer Fairgate all the more intriguing and scary is how little is actually known about the woman herself. Not only had she provided no ID to the hotel, but the name Jennifer Fairgate was fake, and she'd gone to great lengths to hide her identity, taking tags off of clothes and using acid to remove the registration number from the weapon found at the crime scene. The assumption was that the tragedy was self-inflicted, but there are reasons to think the truth is more complicated. The way she allegedly held the weapon was unusual, and there was no splatter pattern found on the weapon. Both of those facts suggest that the weapon belonged to someone else, and the Oslo Plaza woman was a victim. She did mention a man that would be staying with her when she initially checked in, though no evidence was found of anyone else when police found her. DNA evidence suggests Oslo Plaza woman was probably of East German descent, and she was 24 years old when she died. In the years since, no more information has come to light about the woman. She's never been reported missing. Experts like Ola Kaldiger, a Norwegian intelligence officer, believe she was a spy or a secret agent who was tracked down, judging by the lengths she went to avoid identifying herself. With all of the evidence destroyed after the case closed, it seems unlikely any more information will come to light about this ultimate true crime mystery. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But my name is Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.